Today's episode of Glen's Retro Show is brought to you by DNA Dimension Designs, the best custom retro gaming decals in the game, period. Glen's Retro Show is also brought to you by Arcade Graphics. Looking to spruce up your Arcade1UP home arcade machine with a fantastic look? Be sure to look at arcadegraphics.com today.
Thank you for joining me on today's edition of Glen's Retro Show. A couple days ago I received something in the mail by a gentleman by the name of Andrew. Now Andrew loves the Arcade1UP machines, and he made something for himself, and some people said that they liked it. So he sent me a prototype of what he's been working on. Now again, this is an early prototype, it's not the final version, but what he sent me was a light-up marquee. But what's different about this one? Well, this one requires absolutely no modification whatsoever to your current Arcade1UP machine. This guy will simply slide over your old marquee. That's it. Slide it over your old marquee, and you have a switch to turn this little guy on and off. That's it. So if you're not looking to modify your machine in any way, or take it apart, or not do any permanent modifications, this little guy is going to slide directly over your old one, and it looks pretty nice. But again, this is currently a prototype, so take it as such. But let's have a little bit of a look of what Andrew sent me here, his current press-on light-up marquee project.
Okay, so this is basically it right here. It's basically a solid piece of acrylic that he has molded into a shape just slightly larger than the marquee on your official Arcade1UP system. He's got a LED backlight in here, and I think he's done a really nice job. I'm going to turn this on right now. It does a really nice job of lighting up. And I'm going to take another picture of this with the lights off just so you can see it. But the coloring is actually pretty good on here, and it does light up fairly evenly. So let's turn the lights off and see how it looks with the lights off. Okay, obviously I can't see anything and neither can you, so let's turn on the marquee. There we go. And you can see it really does light up pretty nicely, pretty evenly. Again, there's a little light bleed up here, but remember, this is a prototype. It is not the final version whatsoever. It's just to get basically some feedback on what people think about if they would want something that simply presses on your old marquee versus a complete swap out. And it's pretty nice. I mean, it definitely lights up, which is the most important part, very evenly and nice. He has to do some work obviously with color bleeding, but that's stuff that can be fixed fairly easily. Let's take a look at the other side of this machine now. Okay, so you can see once again it's a solid piece of acrylic. On the bottom of the acrylic there is some reflective tape over here, and there's also some reflective tape on the top side here as well. And the light bar, you can see it's attached directly to the marquee, with the light facing towards the old marquee in your Arcade1UP. So the light's going to hit there, reflect off, bounce around, and light up the back really nicely. But by doing it this way, again, it's a simple slide-on procedure. There's no additional parts needed, there's no disassembly of anything. Take it out of the box, slide it on your machine, turn it on as you wish. So let's go take a look now at how it goes on the actual Arcade1UP machines.
Okay, so I scratched down just a little bit here. I don't have these on risers. So here is my Asteroids Centipede 12-in-1, which just so happens to be one of the two units he sent me for a review. And basically all we're going to do is, here is the power cord. We're going to put that on the top of the machine, get it out of the way for the moment. And literally, you're just going to slide the bottom underneath the old marquee and just slide it over the top. And it's literally just that simple. That's it. Okay, all you need to do is make sure it's flush with the front of the unit, which again might be something you like or don't like. I mean, the old marquees are going to sit back a little bit here, maybe no, inch and a half, where this one will, when it's done in its final form, will follow the curve of your Arcade1UP. So it's pretty close right here right now, but again, it's not a perfect fit. Once again, I remind you, this is a prototype. And then all you need to do is hit your power switch and turn it on. Now, also in his design, it is set up to plug in. These are 12-volt LEDs, which is the same amount of current that your Arcade1UP runs on. So you will have a Y cable on there. So turning your Arcade1UP will turn on the lights, or you can have a separate switch. Now, once again, we're seeing it here on and off in a very, very brightly lit room. So you can see now it's off. So we're now going to do this with the lights off, or at least the lights reduced. And let's see how that looks. Okay, I have a little bit of light still in the room, and you can see the machines fairly well. Let's turn on the backlight. And you can see it does stand out, and it's a very nicely well lit display. Again, you do see some color bleeding on the side, or backlight bleeding I should say. But again, he did send little pieces to put in there to block that off. I haven't done that right now. So that is something he's aware of, that'll be something he would take care of. But again, the lighting here looks really, really good. So now I'm going to try it one more time with all the lights out in the room, and let's see how that looks. So I'm going to turn this guy off again, and let's see how it looks now with no lights in the room. Okay, so you can see the machines are still running here with no lights. And we're going to turn on our backlight. And there we go. Now, another thing he wants to potentially do, again, depends on feedback, would be give a basically a slider for different brightnesses. So instead of having simply on and off, you'd have a range of brightness. But again, you can see that really, really does come through very nicely on the artwork by putting the LED panel blasting back and then bouncing off the silver tape. It gives a very even overall glow rather than having a hot spot of a light anywhere. So he not only sent me this one here for the Asteroids and Centipede 12-in-1, he did send me another one for just my Asteroids. So let's go take a look at the Asteroids one. Okay, so I'm here with my Asteroids unit here, and I do have his custom light-up marquee on the machine already. And you can see once again, it's very flush to the unit. It looks really nice. It's probably little tweaks just to make it a little bit nicer when it goes on, but it does fit fairly well for a prototype. And basically same thing, you can have it either turn on by plugging in the power cord, a switch, or having it plugged directly into the machine itself. But you can see how it lights up right here, and of course I'm going to do it again a little bit closer and with the lights out so you can see how nice that looks and judge for yourself. Okay, I've cut out about half the light in my room, and you can kind of still see the machine itself. It's very reflective here on the front because that's obviously plexiglass in front of the marquee itself. And again, the plexiglass kind of bends down around nicely here, which is a very nice look. It doesn't look like it's an aftermarket product, at least it won't when it's a final version. This one was handmade and hand bent, so you see little imperfections on it. But again, if something comes to market, that would change. Now let's turn this machine on. And you can see once again, it gives a very nice, warm, even glow. The backlight, once again, is actually facing backwards, hitting off the marquee that's in the Arcade1UP, and there's silver reflective tape, and it kind of bounces the light around to give you a nice, even look to it. Now, there is color bleed on the sides. Now, we're aware of that. He did send me things to kind of cover that up. I didn't put them on, but that's something that would be obviously addressed. You don't want to have color bleed on the sides, but even the color bleed that's there, it's not that bad. Especially if this is a prototype, not a final production version at all. So let's take another look with this, with all the lights out, and see how it looks. Okay, we can't see anything right now. The room's too dark. So let's turn this marquee on. And you can see once again, very even glow. It's a 12-volt LED lights that are actually facing back, hitting the back of the original marquee, hitting some silver tape and reflecting around to give you a nice even glow on the front. There is not color bleed, but backlight bleed on the sides. But again, he sent me stuff to cover that up. I simply didn't put it on. But that's something that definitely would be addressed in the final version. What is nice about it is that it does kind of follow the curves of the actual Arcade1UP side panels. So it doesn't look like it's really something too aftermarket, something that simply slides on to the old one. And I'm just going to pull it off in real time here. So I'm going to do it. Actually, I'll put some light on here so you can see it a little bit more when I pull that off, how it looks. Okay, you can still see that the backlight's on, but this comes off very easily. It just really lift, and that's it. So your original marquee is still there, and this just really just slides right over it. And that's just kind of nice if you're not someone who likes to really modify or make changes to your machine too much. I mean, that just goes on just literally like that, and you're done. So let me give some final thoughts. How do I feel about Andrew's light up marquee? Well, I'm not gonna lie, it looks pretty nice. The lighting of it and the substrate it's using here looks really good. I mean, it just looks really nice. And if you don't want to take apart part of your machine to put in a more permanent light up marquee, this is the only option in town, and it's a really neat concept. Simply open your box, slide this on, plug it in either to the back of your Arcade1UP's power supply or AC. That's it. You're all set and done. So it comes down to obviously the price point and what it costs versus one that you would take a machine apart or partially apart to put one in. But the concept is really nice. Now there are some things it needs to address. Obviously the bleeding on the sides, I didn't put in his little pieces to block that. That's something obviously I've taken at heart. And also right now these are prototypes. He's building these by hand. So the bending is not perfect, but it's really not bad. But if he's going to market with this, I would want to have that much more improved. But again, I do like the fact that it kind of really goes with the front of the unit pretty smoothly here. So it looks like it's something that could be from the factory, and then you can always just take this off if you didn't want it anymore, put it somewhere else. But do join us on the official Arcade1UP fan page on Facebook, because Andrew is there, and leave any comments there about this video for any suggestions you might have to it. Also, please leave comments down below. I'm sure he'll be looking there as well. And of course, I always read the comments, as you know. And if you did like the video, please like, share, subscribe, tell your friends, and remember, everyone, always game on.
Glen at the Tiny Arcade fan page. Remember, don't admire people too much. They'll disappoint you.
Sit, Blue Blue, sit. Good dog.